welcome back to the WCS Korea Challenger League. Really, really intense for us. Very aggressive games we just saw. Avenge, great hold in game number 1, being aggressive 2 games in a row, not able to take out SOS, who will advance back into the Premier League, back into Code S.
And we have now a Terran versus Terran coming up, and it's not only a mirror match, it is also a team match. 2 team members going up against each other. Team MVP represented by Dream and Keen in the next game. Both of them not with the most brilliant history in Terran versus Terran Heart of the Swarm so far. So we're gonna see who's able to win this game. Keen came down from the Premier League, and Dream was able to win in the first and second round of the Challenger League. Both of them having their shot to go up into the Premier League for season number 1 in 2014.
Yeah, and the Terran versus Terran of all matches, we don't see that one all too often here in Korea. The funny thing is, a while back, you saw almost nothing but Terran versus Terrans, and nowadays it's getting a little bit rarer. So I'm really curious to see how this one's going to go, because it could be, normally Terran versus Terran are longer matchups, but with all the fast games we saw today, plus the fact that these 2 guys are teammates, we could see some crazy aggressive games here, some proxies, some weird strategies.
Exactly, and that's definitely the case. So that is one of the options what we could have today. The Relic Watcher being the first map that we have, the tournament edition, of course. And Keen should be pretty psyched about this. He's the one who has the better record in the mirror match so far in Heart of the Swarm. But Dream, a strong opponent to face. Let's see who's going to take this series here at the WCS Challenger League with Colin Wolf. To the top right of the map, the first MVP player starting in red. This is, of course,
MVP Dream.
A Dream, not a Fantasy. Fantasy's playing later.
Yep, he'll be playing next.
And Dream up against a teammate. At the bottom left of the map, we have in blue the commander himself.
MVP King.
Today without the pogo stick. Just giving you a few ideas about the win ratio in Heart of the Swarm in the mirror matchup for both of the players. It's actually not all that impressive in Terran versus Terran at least. Keen with 12 maps played, won 5 and lost 7. That leaves him with a 41% win ratio. He just recently was able to take the best of 3 of Reality, but before that he lost 3 best of 1s in a row against Supernova, against Bomber and against Maru. On the other hand, there we have Dream, and Dream actually was really struggling in Heart of the Swarm. It has been since the add-on was released, the expansion set, of course. 4 maps won and 10 lost. That leaves him with a 28% win ratio. And the only game in recent history that he was able to win was a best of 1 against MMA. So not really the win ratio of Wings of Liberty that he had back then. And makes it a little bit difficult to actually pick a favorite here.
Yeah. I mean, they're both not stellar here.
The win ratios that you see on the screen, by the way, don't include all the games that they've played offline in Heart of the Swarm. This is mostly basically like an achievement, what they achieved in Korea so far here at the GSL. So keep that in mind when we're talking about the win ratios, that the ones that we actually quote are the totals.
So what we see here for Keen is actually a quick Reaper. He got his gas much faster, so he's going to scout. But the build that we saw from Dream, on the other hand, which he poorly controls his Marine, that was a mistake, is a faster expansion build, and will also be able to get a quick factory out. So he's basically just saying, I don't need the Reaper, I know that you're probably not going to be aggressive with me in Game 1, that's how he's feeling about this, and so he gets the greedier build, and actually goes for a reactor regardless of what I just said. He's going to go drop the reactor here and play this one a little bit differently.
Yeah, and putting an end to the SCV scouting in the main base. So right now, one of the things that you have to keep in mind here is that because we have 2 teammates facing each other, they will usually train with each other. I feel at the time when they identified that they might be opponents in the 3rd round, they probably stopped practicing together. But this is one of those scenarios where you usually know your opponent very well, and you might therefore do some things that he just doesn't expect that at first don't make a lot of sense, but you just try to do something that he hasn't seen yet. So that's why we could see in game number 2 or maybe game number 3, maybe even here in the later stages of the map, some really crazy things.
Yeah. Now, with the late Marine production here because of the reactor, the Reaper is able to come in here and be very annoying, will not escape, and not get any kills, but sticks around for quite some time. Second Reaper is going to come up here and verify the command center timing, and may even be able to delay it slightly, not with the perfect placement there, though, by Dream on his Marines on the high ground.
Yeah, he's very meticulous about his Marine positioning, and he knows that a second Reaper might follow, and he immediately repels it. So Keen doesn't get too much out of the second Reaper, the first one, of course, already down. But both of them heading into an opening where they now get their expansion. We have them heading into the starport. So nothing too exciting going on so far. Like a slight edge that Dream with the earlier CC edged out, but the problem for him being it was in the high ground, because he knew that there would most likely being a Reaper opening like Keen, so he wanted to protect the SCV. But that also means that he has to fly to the low ground, and Keen himself building the CC on the low ground already kind of makes up for the disadvantage that he had in the early game. So they kind of equalize it at this point.
And even the timing of the orbitals here, not too different. So definitely going to actually be much better for Keen in the long run. Now, with the builds that we're seeing so far, it looks like Dream wants to go for a quick drop. And this is something that Keen has anticipated. He made one Widow Mine. He's going to have that at home ready for defending. One Widow Mine alone is not going to be enough. He will need the Viking to help out. And he starts that right away. And it looks more and more like we're going to see mech play out of Dream, because he has not added any additional Marines, not even a single one at the time being produced here.
Yeah, it looks like we have no secret agreement that no game today is allowed to last longer than 10 minutes. So both players this time heading into more of a mid and late game, which is a bit refreshing given the matches that we've seen so far, even though a couple of those really short matches that we saw earlier were quite intense and really interesting to watch. But this is heading into a longer game now. We have Dream definitely with those Hellions that you already mentioned earlier, and the Marines are about to be dropped, the Hellion as well, and he just barely was able to escape notice, but he is going to fly right into the vision of the Viking, and of course also shot range.
Well, you know what? The Viking patrols at the worst possible time here.
Wow.
He's not seen. He's very unlucky. And here comes that drop. 6 Marines and a Hellion. Meanwhile, there's an attack at the front. Good split here against the Widow Mine. One Hellion goes down, but now the Widow Mine's on cooldown. Looking really good for Dream right now.
Oh,
nice pickup!
Amazing, just before the Hellions do that damage. And now he's lining up the SCVs, and most of them already down. Dream with so much damage done. Of course, in the main base he drops again. He knows that he has to, since there is a Viking on the prowl. But that is just such a great opening for him. 10 Harvesters taken out.
Yeah, make that 11 as he kills this one here. Scan for the Widow Mine. That was actually a questionable scan, but he did actually get some Hellions regardless there.
But he doesn't get the Widow Mine.
Yeah, that's one of those scans where I'm like, is that even worth it? Even if you do get the Widow Mine. 37 SCVs to 29 now, and he knows about the cloak. He scouted it with his drop. He even saw the Banshee, and he's going to have a Viking out. The Raven is almost out. He's going to go ahead and try to force the cloak as soon as possible.
Yep, and here we go. He forces he's trying to force it out, already doing some damage, but here we have Keen and the Hellions, and Keen's Hellion control is usually exceptional. This time he doesn't chase those Vikings on the other hand, the SCVs. He's moving into the main base, trying to control the ramp, and therefore a choke point. He has the Banshee there as well, taking down Hellions,
yeah.
But at the same time the Viking is repelling him. Nice, dodging the scout range.
Yeah, that was actually really funny how that worked out, because the Banshee didn't kill SCVs, just tried to kill Hellions, which then was to give the Hellions of Keen a faster route to do damage to the SCVs, so kind of weird how that one turned out. Not poorly, but just strange.
I mean, Dream is really taking a lead now. He already has that third command center, and the orbital tech is nearly done. Keen just started his own upon realizing what his opponent has in the main base. I think that Keen could have done a bit more damage to the economy of his opponent. As is, with the Harvesters taken out by Dream earlier with his initial attack, the red Terran player is taking now a quite significant lead in this game.
He's got his own counter Banshees coming out. He's getting an armory now, so he can get the upgrades. 2 factories started here as well. And at this point, Keen knows what's up. He's actually going to go for some harassment here. Just getting that perfect sweet spot right on the edge where the turret cannot reach. And here's the Raven. He may actually even drop an auto turret here.
5 kills already, and taking another one. 6 kills on the Banshee. Not too bad.
People are really reluctant to drop those auto turrets. Could have worked out okay. Obviously, it's going to get more energy now that he doesn't do that to drop more defense drones, because Keen is adding, he's going to bio. He's got Stim finished. He will, of course, start adding Marauders, and that's where the point defense run is going to be really useful. And wow, Dream is just going to go ahead and take this third base, and if he does not get denied, if you're a meching player going for 3 bases this early and get away with the 6 gases, then you are going to get a massive mech army so fast.
The Banshee already spotting the 2 refineries going down, so he knows what's coming up, and the Banshee is going to escape, but 2 SCVs kills already. We have a lot of additional factories, of course, coming in for Dream, who wants to have this production. And that's something that Keen doesn't really know about yet. Scans are starting to go down. Of course, he still knows that there was a Widow Mine earlier on. Tries to scan what's happening, and once more, the Banshee causing trouble, taking down 5 SCVs already and dodging in the scan range.
Just goes to show how much value you actually can get in the cloak research, even if you don't do a lot of damage initially, you can actually get so much out of that.
He even gets away with the Banshee.
He actually might fly right into those Marines. I think he is off camera here. Just barely escapes. There's another scan, but he kills even more SCVs. And Keen's Banshees are trying to keep him in this game.
Yeah, they're getting repaired here too, so that definitely works for him. Another Banshee moving in here, taking down at least one of the Aliens, but the Viking is ready. So Keen doing a really good job coming back into this game and starting to take a bit of a lead here.
And
already ahead in overall supply.
Keen is going into double starport here. And that could be for all sorts of things, like a Viking switch. It could be for going heavy on Ravens. The double tech lab's going down. In a weird, crazy world, it could be for battle cruisers, but not, well, there's the fleet. I mean, the fusion core. He doesn't have 6 gases, though, so he's not going to be able to make a whole lot of any gas units except battle cruisers, and not even going to be able to get 3 of them out at a time.
Yeah, but he has the 3rd base, and he's going for the double gas at the 3rd right away, so we might see that indeed. And at this point, the game already really interesting. Worker supply is nearly the same. Both of them have access to the 3rd base now. The army supply is a little bit better for Dream. But that's a really nice tech tree that Keen is going down now. Not really what I expected coming into this game, but
yeah,
this is promising a lot of fun.
You know what I said, and you know, we talk about it all the time. You talked about it a little bit earlier too. Is just these guys are teammates, so weird things do happen. You know, today's games have just, they've delivered. They have been as exciting and even more exciting than I expected. Keen being aggressive here at the front with all this mech, it's going to be hard for him to actually get in and get something done. There's a Hellbat drop coming down through the center here. A whole lot of nothing at the 3rd base of defense, so it could do a lot of damage. I don't even think there's a turret there. First battlecruiser is on the way, meanwhile. And he does see it, stims, and only going to get a Hellion here.
Yeah. Doesn't get too much, and a missile turret goes up immediately. So if you just look at the upgrades that we currently see, of course with the biotech that we have for Keen up to this point, there's a whole lot that he has, and he actually goes into Yamato immediately, starts his battle cruisers. I cannot wait to see this unfold. Yeah,
the Yamato cannon upgrade really going to be useful against any sort of big unit that he tries to get out to counter this, even useful against single Vikings. And we don't have any Thors, there's not a commitment to Vikings. Quite frankly, Dream does not know what's going on. I mean, why would he make a bunch of Vikings after what he's seen? It doesn't make any sense. So this tech for Keen is really going to surprise him.
Yeah, and we already have a move out by Dream, and Dream is trying to drop. You already saw that he has a lot of units already in the Medivacs, and that's of course the Hellbats. He wants to drop on his opponent's army. He's moving across the map. So far, he hasn't identified what kind of tech we have for Keen, but he's going to find out really soon. At this point, he's the one with the lead in the army supply. The first 2 battle cruisers are in the game. 3rd one is already being built, and here comes Dream trying to push in and take down that 3rd base of his opponent, going for the natural instead.
Yep, going for the natural instead here. This commander is going to have to be cancelled, but he's going to lose it. He has to show the battlecruisers. He's got no choice here. Weapon refit, I do not believe is done. That drop gets in the main base. Battlecruiser is a bit too slow. Keen needs to control here.
Keen with the counter aggression, going for the 3rd of his opponent. In the main base, we have the double drop, the Blue Flame. The Blue Flame Hellbats are trying to do their best here. The battlecruiser repelling the entire mech army on the other hand. There's not a lot of anti-air for Dream, and he might actually lose that base as well. Here comes the stim once again. He's stutter-stepping his way to victory here, taking down a lot of the SCVs. Might have even be able to take down 1 or 2 of the siege tanks. Battlecruiser in the main base of Keen is repelling the two Hellbats. And that is such an intense game at this point, but Dream actually coming out ahead with 40 supply lead.
Yeah, I'd actually maybe even like to see these Vikings land a little bit here to help out against the Hellbats. Decides not to do that. Worker count right now is 56 to 49. It's slightly in favor of Dream, and he needs to deal with the battle cruisers. He has to find a way. It's not going to be easy though, because there are 7 Vikings out already for Keen, and he can make as many more as he wants.
Yeah, the one thing that really gives him the edge, on the other hand, is the income that he has. I mean, he's still the one that has the better harvest account. You can see that his income is quite better than Keen's. He has a bank so that he can spend, but he needs the extra production, and that's what he's going for currently. The battle cruisers are already flying across the map. Keen knows that this is the time where he can really capitalize on his tech that so far was just barely scouted by his opponent. He's getting another base, he's getting his fourth, and Keen is really trying to make this time work. If he can get a good fight here, then he might be able to not only equalize the score in the game, but also just get ahead.
Yep. Sensor tower goes down, and here come those battle cruisers. Turrets are not going to be enough to stop these VCs, especially because they have that Yamato upgrade. This turret to the south goes down. He's got a second one there, but he's actually just going for a depot. If he starts to control here, he can do a whole lot. Turret here, plus the two Mirages ready next to a bunker, can actually nullify this relatively easily.
Helbert goes down, and the Vikings still in range. Only fighting with 2 of the battle cruisers. Now he realizes that the third one is there too. The repair is good on the command center. For now he holds. There's only 1 Thor in the game. 3 actually right now. Only 1 Thor at the front.
He needs to actually start microing his battle cruisers better. He's shooting at that one command center that's likely to be cancelled. Is not going to do him a whole lot of good.
Well, buying the time, on the other hand, gives him a really good position. He's forcing the command center of Dream off the mineral line, and he is already on 4 bases himself. Dream is trying to add 2 additional CCs, but Keen now really in a good position. He was just a few seconds ago 40 supply behind his opponent. Now he has the better economy, and he still has a strong position. He moves back because he realizes, I don't even have to attack you.
Yeah, he takes a 4th base here. 3 Thors are out for Dream, but even with that heavy payload, it's really, really hard to get a ton of damage on battle cruisers with the bio underneath. The bio is going to always stop the Thors from getting those shots off. There's so many siege tanks, and siege tanks, of course, the core of mech in any matchup. Well, the siege tanks here actually are going to find it very difficult to go anywhere. It's going to be so hard to go across the map.
I really love how patient Keen was there. He did not overextend himself. He realized that he did not have to attack. He already did all that he wanted to do. And now with the bunker that he has, he says he's trying to repel this, but Hellbats are still pretty strong. 2 of them going down now, and without the support of the medivac, they don't stand a chance here. But we have another drop already coming in at that 4th base that he has, and there's not a lot to defend. Just 1 Marauder trying to do the deed.
Yeah, just really good pulls here, good reaction time. On the other hand, for Keen, who still maintains that supply lead and lead in harvesters. The upgrades here are, you know, kind of even in some ways. 2-1-1 against just 2-1 for the mech. Of course, mech upgrades arguably better upgrades than bio ones.
And now we have the force moving out. Of course, the Vikings now supported by the Thors on the ground, 3 in total. The Viking count is 12-11. And Dream taking a bit of lead there, but the 5 battle cruisers, can they change the tide of the battle? With the Yamato cannons, they might be able to take down a few of the anti-air units immediately if he uses them.
Yeah, Ravens coming out here as well to really help out against those Viking shots. Drop here actually to force another good lift on the command center. The Vikings coming in, but they're not useful against his Bioforce. He actually loses 2 of them. And it looks like he may get a depot and take some of these mech units with him. His Planetary, on the other hand, he needs to actually target the SCVs if he wants to kill it.
Yeah, this is getting really for Dream, since at this point he's losing a lot of potential income. He's losing harvesters too. I don't think the Planetary will go down. I don't think he has DPS anymore with the Planetary already done. But that is buying him time. And Dream is now going across the map. He wants to do some damage. He once more had to lift his 3rd base.
And he has Dream 20 army supply up on his opponent because he lost so many harvesters, so his income suffers a little bit here, but he has a mech army that's 20 supply up, and that is never to be underestimated, especially with all the Vikings he has to help deal with the battle cruisers.
He has a pretty good lead in the Viking count, 19-14. And here we go, the Viking battle already unfolding. The Thors from the back immediately starting their shots here, and he's trying to snipe those battle cruisers as fast as he can, but the Viking army is already gone for Dream. Everything is gone. He has no anti-air anymore. There's still 6 battle cruisers on the game.
Yep, there's still 6 battle cruisers here. They're going to defend. Meanwhile, siege tanks being killed by Marauders and SCVs. The Planetary not repaired. It will fall. And the depot wall here actually traps units on the ramp. Even the Banshee go into town.
Wow, Keen crushing the army of Dream without a thought. That was insane. Immediately taking down the entire anti-air. Those Thors didn't do a thing. The Vikings melting away. And Keen takes game number 1, the commander, with the lead in the best of 3.
Crouching siege tank, hidden battle cruiser, man. I feel like that's what we just saw. Battle cruisers really catching Dream by surprise. and then it made it hard for him to engage. He had to sit back and leave his entire aggressive army on the defensive and defend his bases while Keen was double expanding, getting that base remade. And once Keen had the economy lead and also that composition switch that really threw Dream off, it was hard for Dream to engage, and he basically had to go for it. The thing is, Dream's harassment didn't do as much for him as he would have liked to in the early game as well.
It was a pretty cool game though, like back and forth action. We had Keen several times moving in. Initially, he didn't do too much with those Hellions. He was really trying to achieve a lot more, but he didn't chase down the SCVs. But the tech switch that he had was really well done. And then when Dream attacked, he was able to hold it. He suffered losses, but the counter-aggression was something that Dream couldn't really deal with without just losing the mining time. And I feel the better economy that Keen was able to establish him really gave him an edge there. He had that fourth base a lot faster. He delayed the fourth of his opponent a little bit, and just forcing the liftoff at the third base every now and then helped him so much, especially when it came down to the gas income. And for a meching player, gas is everything.
Well, going into Frost, there's a lot of reasons why mech is really, really good on this map. Notably the choke points and the distance between the bases. So I could actually see both players going mech this time, and whether we see battle cruisers or not, still up in the air. But after game number 1, would not put past either of these players. These guys train with each other a lot for TVT, so I can tell you they definitely know each other's styles. Let's go into game number 2, see if King can take the 2-0, or if Dream's going to tie it up 1-1 here at the WCS Korea Challenger League with Calder and Wolf.